The janitor's hands before him filled the professor with envy because they were so remarkably unique. The professor handed him surgical forceps. After taking them, the janitor effortlessly picked up a test tube. The professor tried to increase the difficulty, asking him to try with his left hand. Clearly both hands were equally coordinated. He placed the test tubes back in the rack simultaneously. The precision of his movements amazed the professor. This seemingly simple operation would eliminate countless medical students in surgery. Even the professor himself had practiced for over a decade to achieve such steadiness, yet the janitor before him did it with ease, as if born to be a doctor. The professor then asked him what the instrument on the table was.
Van Slyke Neil gas manometer, sir. Doctor.
These various displays left the professor astonished. With talent and effort in mind, the professor invited him to become his assistant and began teaching him medical knowledge. Thomas, from a carpenter's family, had dreamed of becoming a doctor since childhood, but in that particular era, this dream was clearly out of reach. Yet Thomas never gave up, so he came to work at the medical school. His purpose was that during his off hours, he could read medical books for free. At the same time, he understood that as an assistant he needed to work twice as hard, because in America 70 years ago, for a poor man to rise up required both hard work and seizing opportunities. Soon, under the professor's guidance, Thomas got his chance to experiment. To verify their pharmaceutical research results, they used a small dog for the experiment. The professor drew a line. Thomas began surgery along that line, administering anesthesia, making the incision, arterial puncture. Every step went smoothly. The surgery was highly successful, but just as he was suturing, the professor discovered that Thomas hadn't turned on the recording device beforehand, meaning the research results were all recorded. The professor instantly became furious.
Smoke drum, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Thomas was too intimidated to speak. He thought he had found a mentor, but never expected to be disrespected here too. He immediately took off his white coat to leave. The angry professor told him to leave quickly, but just then, the notes on the table caught the professor's attention. Thomas, not knowing about the recording device, had meticulously drawn the surgical process by hand. The professor finally realized his mistake. He hurried out after Thomas, sincerely apologizing to him, saying he was the best assistant he'd ever had, promising never to yell at him again. Seeing the professor's attitude, Thomas was somewhat moved. After all, in that era, rich people would never apologize to the poor. Thomas accepted the white coat the professor handed him. The two worked together seamlessly for a year. Their research results stunned the medical community. The professor consequently received a position at Johns Hopkins Medical School. But when giving his acceptance speech, though it was both of their research accomplishment, the professor never mentioned Thomas at all, because Thomas was poor. Returning home, his wife complained somewhat. The whole family had left their hometown, crowded into this tiny room, finally achieving some success, only to be ruthlessly ignored by the professor. But Thomas expressed gratitude for the opportunity the professor had given, believing that everything would get better.